Hi everyone, this is Debbie Sherman, and I am here to share a few cards with you from the Rubber Buggy card kit for November. So Kelly went through the kit with you, so I am not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in and show you the cards that we're going to make today. Just a heads up, I did do a few small things in advance so that we don't draw out the video and you guys don't get bored with me talking to you. So, okay, the first card we're gonna do is a easel card, and it's really easy to make, and I want to just show you how to make the easel part of it, so in case you just don't know how to make it. But the cards I used are these ones that I get at Hobby Lobby, and they're 5 by 6.5, and they come with envelopes, and you get 50 cards in here. So I always get them with a coupon, get them half off or whatever, but I have a ton of them, and they really, they're made with good cardstock, and you get your envelopes too, so you're not making envelopes, you're just for your projects. But okay, so this is going to take 2 cards, and what I did is I cut one of the cards in half, and so we're just going to use one piece of one half of the card. For the next step, we're gonna take a whole card, and we're gonna lay the front down, and we're gonna score at 2.5 inches right here, and that's all we're gonna use that scoreboard for, so you can set it aside. And then we're gonna fold our card on the fold line, and then again we're going to fold where we just scored. And if you want to burnish that down, it would probably help. I just like to make really good creases on my cards, but that's up to you whether you want to do that tonight or not. Okay, so the next step is to fold on your score line, and then you're going to have this. This is what your card will look like. Okay, so now again, flatten it out, and we're going to add some adhesive to just part one half of this, and it's going to be the bottom half. Okay, and now we're going to line up both bottoms of the card. This way, and then press down, and that will give your easel card. Once you fold it, you have an easel card, and then it lays flat. Okay, hope you got that. If not, just let me know and we'll do it again. Okay, so here is my card. And to work on this card, I'm going to keep it flat. And the first thing I'm going to do is from our pattern paper, I cut out this panel to fit on the top of the card. So let's go ahead and adhere that. Okay, the second step is to do the bottom. And I cut out this panel from our pattern paper. And we're going to adhere that, center it on your card base and adhere it to the bottom. So the next step we're going to do is, I've already done part of this, but I stamped a sentiment from our Altenew stamp set that came in the card kit, and I just used a scrap piece of paper from one of the pieces I cut earlier and stamped a sentiment, adhered it to the gold glitter cardstock, and then I added a piece of foam tape to the back. So now we're going to peel that backing off the tape and go ahead and adhere, center it under your card base on the bottom and stick it down. So when you fold your card up, it's going to hold it just like that. Okay, so another thing I wanted to do is add a little decoration here, and you don't have to do this. This is completely up to you. But I wanted to add, I had some flowers. I have some poinsettia flowers in my stash, and I die cut a couple of these little twigs from a die set that I have. I think it is a Tim Holtz die set. But then I want to adhere these, and I'm going to just add a little tiny bit of glue with a glue gun and stick it down. And then there should be enough glue seeping through from the first one, from the first greenery. Okay, and now I'm going to add a flower, and I chose this flower because it's pretty much flat, so that when you fold the card down, there's not a lot of bulk underneath it. And then I took one of the little charms out of the kit, and I just stuffed it underneath here to give a little added embellishment. And you can use glue dots or whatever you like. But so there is your first card. Let me see, did I cut? Let's add a bow to this. Oh, I know what I wanted to do with this. I didn't want to add the bow. I wanted to add some of the sequins that came in the kit, and it is right here. So for this, I'm just going to add a little bit to the bottom, but I actually want to use the gold sequins. It's still in my box somewhere. Unless I used it all. Okay, well, we'll just use the red. So I think we're going to just add it across here. And I'm just going to use a wet glue for that. Alright, here's my gold. I found it. So this wet glue will dry clear, so don't worry about it seeping through a little bit. Alright, there's your card. That's the front, and then that's the inside. Alright, we'll set that one aside. And now we're going to work on the next card, and it's a fairly simple card. So I wanted to make a couple of these just very easy. I used the red glitter paper for the background, and we're just gonna, and I also found another panel in the card kit that I thought was really pretty. It has doilies on it, and it has holly on it, and then I used the red stickles to dot the berries, the holly berries, and then I let that dry. And so now let's just finish up this card. So we're going to adhere our panel to our glitter paper, leaving, it's about, I think about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay. And now let's adhere it to our card base. Alright, and again, we're going to use the red sequins for this one. And I want to use some wet glue. You can use glitter glue if you like. It's hard to find in the clear. It's every time I look for it, it's sold out. So I will try to find some. Okay, so what we are going to do with this one is we're going to adhere this to the top and the bottom. So there's a place at each end that this goes with perfect. I like this little sequence, it's really pretty. And it kind of gives your card a little dimension and a little texture and a lot of sparkle. Especially Christmas cards are always sparkly, so there's the bottom. I'm one of those crafters who tend to I don't want to say overdo things, but I really like lots of texture, and I like lots of embellishment, and so I'm gonna kind of try and show you some extra things you can do to these cards. You don't have to do it, but if you want to try something different, you can. I'm really into mixed media, so it's hard for me to stop at times. I like to keep going, but I always know when to stop. It just, but I do like that extra little bit of everything. So, okay. So let's adhere. I'm going to add this little flower. This didn't come in the kit, but I'm sure you can find one somewhere if you really want to add a flower. You don't have to, but I'm just going to take it just a little bit further and add the flower. And there's your card. Okay, now let's move on to the third card. I still have a lot of materials left too, so we can, I still can make like 5 more cards out of this. I don't have as much glitter paper left, but I do have quite a bit of just pattern paper, and I can always make more cards with that. Okay, so for this card, I used a die, an oval die, and die cut out the front, and then I went ahead and stamped using the stamp set in the card kit, stamped the poinsettia, and then added some red stickles for the berries in the center, and I colored it just with a dauber and a little bit of ink, just trying to stay inside the lines, which I did pretty good. I got a little boo-boo, but not too bad. Okay, so for we're going to go ahead and adhere this. So open up your card. And stick your panel in there and try to center it in there. Don't stick it all the way down. Come back over in here and center it like this. And then this is what your card will look like once you've got that in there. What I did is I die cut this oval smaller than the outside oval. So I used 2 dies, a larger one and then one size smaller for the actual card base. So I went ahead and stamped my sentiment on there, wishing you a happy holiday, and I'll go ahead and adhere this on. And I try to center the oval instead of the card base. Make sure you stick it on there straight though. Didn't get it straight again. Don't put it all the way down, just okay, there we go. Alright, so for the pieces I had left from die cutting, those ovals, I used them on the inside, and then I stamped the poinsettia again just with some red ink, and then added stickles, the red stickles to the poinsettia, and then stamped again down here in the corner. I think a lot of people leave their insides unfinished, and I tend to do the same thing, but I decided to go ahead and finish this one. And then I tied a red bow out of this glittery ribbon that's in the kit. And let's just go ahead, I'm just going to stick it right there. I love Christmas cards. I'm in the mood for them right now, and I really start crafting at Christmas time like crazy, so I'll probably add a couple more cards to this once I get them done, but I love that poinsettia. When I stamped this poinsettia, I stamped it with clear Versamark and with this, and then I embossed it with a clear, it's called Snow, and I got this embossing powder just at Michael's, and it's Recollections brand, but I've found out that I really like their embossing powder, so I have quite a bit of it, but anyway, it's kind of an opal color when it dries, and when you heat it up and finish it, it's really pretty. Okay, so there's card number 3. Alright, we're going to go to card number 4, and this card is not difficult at all. It's pretty easy, but I wanted to make it look difficult. So anyway, I cut out, oh whoops, I forgot to add a couple things to this card. That's stuff, and we'll go back here. I wanted to add some of these little pearls to my card, and I forgot to do that. So there's some green ones in here, and I'm gonna just add 3 of those. So I'm gonna add a large one, a medium one, and a small one, and we are gonna add them right here. I use adhesive. I use these little flat back pearls for a lot of things. They're one of my favorite embellishments, and you can find them on almost all my layouts and on a lot of things that I do. Okay, now I'll let that dry. Okay, so back to our card again, and I found this little piece of twine in my stash, and so I added a couple of these little charms that are in the kit onto them, and then I tied it around this panel. I found this Santa in our pattern paper. I added a ribbon, and then I added a little of that gold sequence ribbon to the side. And then right here, on these pine needles, I added some green stickles to that just to make it pop a little bit. So on this top here, I just cut a slit down the middle of the panel, and then took, this is a wooden skewer that you can buy in the grocery store to make shish kebabs with, actually, but I use them for a lot of things. So, and then I just rolled those ends like that, and what I'm going to do is adhere this little panel behind it, and so let's go ahead and do that. So just even it up with the top of your card. Okay, so that's how it looks. And then what I'm gonna do is I added some foam tape to the back of this card because I want to pop it up a little bit. So peel off that foam tape, or that backing on your tape. I always need my little sticker tool to get this backing off. It just doesn't come off that easy, which is good because you don't want it to ruin your tape, but okay, so now let's just stick it down on your glitter panel here. There you go. And it's not so thick that it's going to pop up a ton, but just enough. Okay, so I want to use another one of these little round pearls that are in our kit. And I'm going to use a red one this time. But first, I think I'm going to stick this down onto our card. Okay. So we're going to just put that right there. If you really want to take this to a next level, you could add lace in here, or, you know, and that kind of it makes it really pretty. But then I'm going to use these little twigs, pine sprays, that I die cut. And I know these are Tim Holtz die cuts, so they're available in a lot of stores if you don't have them, and they are totally optional, just so you know. So they don't have to be used for this card, but if you want to take it just a little further, you can. And these are definitely, they're not in the card kit, so. All right. I use a lot of hot glue on my projects because I don't like them to fall apart. I want them to stay together. So, and some adhesives, you know, just when you think they're really strong, they're not. And I really actually prefer a lot of score tape, but of course you can't use that on things like this. But there's your card. It is finished. Oops. All right, that was card number 4. So this next card is a little more difficult, but it's everything here is in the card kit, so you don't have to worry about, you know, not having the right product here. But so what I did for this is I used the tags, and we are going to make a pocket card. So it's a lot of fun. But right now, I went ahead and I finished 2 tags, and what I did is I cut them down a little bit, and I'll show you why. But here is, you might need a wet glue for these because they're, when you stick it on, the glitter glue doesn't, or the glitter paper doesn't stick very well. But we're going to set the tags aside for a second. So we're going to go ahead and start on this, on our card base. So this card is going to, this is the front of the card, and what we're going to do is going to adhere this to the card base. Oops. I love this little pattern, this pattern paper with the deer on it. Okay, I messed up, sorry. You should be able to just peel this off. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Just go ahead and adhere this on to this piece, to your glitter paper. And then we're gonna need a scrap. And this scrap is probably, let's see, it's about 2 1/4 inches by 8 1/2 inches. So what we're going to do is take it and fold it around our card like this, and then fold the excess over the back. Then we are going to take a piece of score tape and add it to the bottom of our card. Sorry, I was not thinking. Oh my goodness, I almost messed it all up. Okay, so peel off your backing off your tape. And I'm leaving a mess. And then center it on, center this piece of scrap paper onto the bottom of your card, and then fold these over, and using some glue, a hot glue gun, fold those down or glue those down. Okay, now we're ready to put this on our card. Sorry. Oh, almost messed that up pretty bad. Okay. All right. So now you have a little pocket here. And I found this panel in my scraps, so it's going to go down on the front. And I stamped Happy Holidays on the front here from our, using our stamp set from the kit. And then we're going to adhere this to the front. All right, now this tag is already done, and the back is blank. So you can, if you want to add a photo, you can add a photo. And the front, you can add a little journaling to it if you want to, with dates and what year and stuff like that. And then this will go right in here. And I cut down my tags, I told you earlier, so that they'd fit into this pocket. So there's one tag. And then also here's my second tag. I added a little sequins to it and then put bows on all of them. So that goes there. And then I'll show you how to make this little tag. I went ahead and of course cut the tag down, and I adhered a piece of scrap paper to the silver glittered paper, and These tags are really easy. And then you'd adhere this to your front of your tag. And I stamped this cinnamon on your love, and this is just a piece of scrap paper from the paper pad, and then I used a little piece of silver to mat it. And we're just going to put that right there. And then there's your tags and your card. And that's how it looks finished. So I hope you like these cards, and I hope I was able to inspire you to create something similar. But if you need any help, just drop me an email or a quick note on our Facebook page on the Rubber Buggy Brigade page, and just call me out and I'll answer. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.